All right, let's talk about something none of us ever really want to think about, getting into a car accident. But if it happens, knowing the rules around towing can make a huge difference. In this explainer, we're going to break it all down so you know exactly what your rights are right when you need them most.
Just picture it for a second. The shock of the crash, maybe some flashing lights, you're stressed out. And then a tow truck shows up. That's a moment where you're just totally vulnerable, right? But what you need to know is there's actually a system in place, a highly regulated one, designed to protect you. So let's dive into exactly what that system looks like.
Okay, so the first thing you absolutely have to get your head around is this. The reason your car needs a tow changes everything. The rules for a simple breakdown are worlds apart from the rules that kick in after a crash.
So what we're zeroing in on today is what's officially called accident towing. This is specifically for when your vehicle is too banged up to be driven away from a crash site. And this is the kind of towing that's wrapped up in a pretty strict set of official rules.
And this breaks it down perfectly. You've really got two different worlds here. On one side, there's accident towing, for crashes. That's a job for accredited pros with special tow number plates, and in many places, the prices are actually set by law. Then you've got trade towing, for a flat tire or if your engine overheats. That's a totally different ballgame. Basically, a competitive market where prices aren't fixed. The big takeaway, if there's been a crash, a very specific rulebook comes into play.
Okay, so why all the strict rules for accident towing? And where do they even apply? Let's take a closer look.
And here you go. This map shows you exactly where we're talking about. See, Victoria is carved up into different zones. Those super strict regulations, especially the ones about fixed prices and how tow jobs are given out, they apply inside these two areas. The big blue one, which is the Melbourne-controlled area, and the orange one down there, the Geelong self-management area.
So why do they do this? Well, honestly, it's to stop total chaos from breaking out. Instead of having a bunch of tow trucks racing each other to an accident scene, which is dangerous, this allocation system keeps things orderly and safe. A central dispatcher just sends the next available truck on the list, and the goal is to get help to you within about 30 minutes. It's all about being safe and efficient.
All right, let's get to the question that's probably on your mind after a crash. What is this all going to cost me? The good news is, inside those regulated zones, you don't have to guess.
So have a look at this. These are the current official government-set fees for the Melbourne area. There's a base fee, about $273, which gets you the tow and the first 8 kilometres. After that, it's a set rate per kilometre. And you can see there are also clear prices for things like an after-hours call-out and what it costs per day to store your cars safely. But you might be wondering, where do these numbers come from? Are they just plucked out of thin air? Nope. The regulators use something called a benchmarking approach. It just means they do their homework. They look at what's being charged for similar accident tows in places like Sydney and Adelaide, and they also compare it to the prices in the unregulated trade towing market right here in Victoria.
And this chart, it makes that whole idea super clear. The official review found that Melbourne's regulated fees are, well, pretty much in line with what other states are charging. And yeah, they're a bit higher than what you'd pay for a local trade tow, but that's because accident towing is a more complex service with more requirements. So the final verdict was that the current prices are about right.
Look, the numbers are one thing, but this next part, this is what really matters. This is the stuff that empowers you when you're standing on the side of the road feeling stressed. Let's walk through your rights.
So, it all comes down to this one piece of paper, the authority to tow form. Before your car even gets hooked up, the driver is legally required to give you this form to read and sign. This is your contract. It's where you choose where your car goes, to your home, your mechanic, wherever. And it has to lay out all the costs clearly. Super important.
And here are a few more really important things to lock away in your memory, just in case. First, you always have the right to call your insurance company for advice right there at the scene. Also, and this is a big one, tow truck drivers are not allowed to try and sell you on repair work. If you can't pay the tow fee right away, they'll take the car to their depot and they have to make it available for you to pick up during business hours once everything is paid for.
You know, with all these rules and regulations, it's easy to forget there's a human element to all this. The system is there for protection, but a good professional driver can turn a really awful situation into something manageable, like you see in this review. That care and understanding can make a world of difference.
All right, so after looking at the whole system, what did the big official review by the Essential Services Commission actually decide? Where are things headed with these fees?
Well, the bottom line from the latest draft is pretty simple. The system is basically working. So the main recommendation is to not make any major changes. Towing fees and storage fees will stay the same, apart from the usual small adjustments for inflation each year. And for now, those really complex jobs, like pulling a car out of a ravine, what they call salvage, those fees will stay unregulated too.
So for now, things are stable. The rules are set. But there's a big change coming down the road, literally. More and more of us are driving electric vehicles, and towing an EV isn't always the same as towing a petrol car. It can require different training and different equipment. So the big question is, will these rules, designed for the cars of yesterday, be enough for the cars of tomorrow? That's definitely something the regulators are going to have to keep a close eye on.